Instagram. Okay, we are live. This is amazing. All right. Okay, so welcome, everybody. Hello, S Woods. Happy smiley faces all round. Lots of twinkly fingers and a big hello. So here we are kicking off the Liberate Your Soul methodology, something I've created a long time ago. If it's a case that you are a female, yeah, that's right, and you want to completely recreate the way you're living your life, you want to take big leaps, whether it be in your business, in your love life, in your wealth and your health, you want to just completely expand and completely change the way you are and the way you're living your life, then this is absolutely the way to go forward. Okay, something I created many years ago back in 2014. Now I have got a few things to share with you on the screen, and obviously you Instagrammers are not going to see it, unfortunately, because you're on the live. But what I'll do is you can either jump in onto the Facebook group, which I'll put the link under a couple of pictures on the IG grid there for you ready. Now, remember my masterclasses. All I ask you to do is give yourself an uninterrupted 60 minutes maximum from start to finish. And the offer I have for you tonight is if you want to work with me outside of the workshop window, one-on-one, to basically reach that inner guru, which is the workshop we are working on this week, finding your inner guru. You want to create spiritual, mental, physical and soulful, a whole well-being around the way you live your life to completely change and transform yourself to actually live the life you want to live on your terms. Then I will be able to help you nurture that and get you on a plan ready to help you nurture the next steps in your one-on-one coaching. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, you can absolutely just give me a thumbs up, give me the love hearts, all right? Or you can just DM me directly if it's something you feel I can help you with. Now, the Liberate Your Soul methodology helps you across all spaces. So it helps you with your love life, it helps you with your health, it helps you with your wealth, and it helps you in every aspect, whether you are in a career, whether you're in corporate, or whether you're an entrepreneur. It works everywhere across the field. Okay, now it seems to be that my live stream seems to be a little bit lagging, so I'm just going to carry on with that and hopefully it will be fine. So here we are, the first step then. I don't need any notes with this work because I've been doing it for hundreds of years. So the first point in your magic mindset is you need your pen and you need your paper for tonight. Again, if you want to jump on the replays, they're here right up until the end of June. Okay, so I'm going to be working with you right up until the end of June. That's right, because that's how we do. As you can see, I'm a pretty down-to-earth kind of gal. There's no dressing up at this particular point because we're working through everything that you want to do to completely change the way you see your life. So me dressing up and selling myself right now is not what we need to be doing. We want to be at a really calm state. So go and get your tracksuit bottoms on, get your pajamas on, whatever. Sit comfortably in a space that you're not going to be disturbed, that you've got your notebook and your pen and your phones on do not disturb. Close all the windows on your laptop and let's get going. So the first thing then about this so-called mindset, the word mindset in the Liberate Your Soul methodology is all about your spiritual alignment. The word mindset has been derived, like a lot of things, from Latin, and I won't go into it too much. However, it's about the way you see things, the way you feel things, the way you want your world to look like. Now, not many people tell you about that, but whenever they talk about the mindset, they're talking about exactly that. How are you seeing your world? How is that changing for you? The other thing that comes with the word mindset is independence. Independence comes with the word mindset because we look elsewhere. We look externally. We look to our government, the system, the state to help us out. What do you want us to do next? Where do you want us to go? What do you want me to do? We look to God. We look to spirit. But the main thing is we never look into ourselves. We never look into ourselves at all. This is where in Liberate Your Soul we find the inner guru. Because every single one of us has the ability to reach deep down inside through many different ways of connections with oneself in order to completely shift the mindset. Okay? The mindset shift comes from many, many different factors. You might be an academic and get an aha moment from reading a book or watching a film. You're quite switched on that way. You're listening as well as hearing. You might be like me and very, very intuitive, and you can hear things externally that are on the outside and whispers and things like that happening from different channels, different frequencies, and you hear something that you need to hear and it shifts the mindset. You might be a salesperson, you might be well into your career, you might be very, very high up in corporate, and your learning comes from what other people have done before and after you. And you look to what they call mentors, coaches, to find that mindset shift. So there are many, many different factors that take on the mindset shift. Now, tonight I'm going to teach you my way. Okay? This isn't some kind of live events where you have to hang on for the whole 60 minutes to find the rest of it, because I can't stand that myself. I'm not that way in selling. You know what I mean? So the first thing we're going to write down is, what is your mindset shift? What is your mindset shift? Because we're reaching for the inner guru. So what is your mindset shift? And these are the questions you want to ask yourself in order to get that mindset shift. We're going to start creating that magic. All right. So the first thing you want to ask is, who am I? Now, the best way I do this with clients is we write it in red pen and then we write it in green pen. The reason for that is the brain identifies the different colors. Red is a warning, green is a go. So red is, who am I? There's your stop. Stop. We see that color, our brain recognizes the word stop is a warning, so we stop. It makes you stop in your tracks and ask, who am I? Over the hundreds of millions of years and thousands of clients I've been doing this work, that is the hardest question. Some women say to me, I don't have my children define who I am. I refuse to let my husband and my family define who I am. So I say, okay, that's amazing. So who are you then? And they can't answer. There's other women that I've helped transform from domestic violence, child abuse, sexual exploitation, and they turn around and say, well, my abuser is who I am. And it's painful, but they're the scars that are inside of them that need healing. That's what's holding them back. Okay, so who are you? I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes in regards to that question, because we take our time through this. Who am I? Who am I? Okay, so I just want you to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to get some music on for you. Who am I? Who am I? I've got a lovely cup of tea here. My daughter made it for me. I just let the pen flow. We're just getting straight into this work. Just let the pen flow. Who am I? So just one more minute to go. All right. Now, the thing is with that is it can be a really, really deep dive question. But the first thing the human being does is write down who and what they think they are. And straight away, they write down a load of garbage and a load of words. And then slowly over time, you get to calm down and you get to see, am I really that person? Is that really me? You are not the person you were when you were born. You are not the person you are in 30 years' time. You're this person now. And now I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you in a job that you can't stand? Do you exercise? Do you take care of yourself? Or when your children run into the bedroom, do you tell them not to look at you because this isn't how a woman should look? I heard that comment yesterday. Very, very sad. Do you refuse to let anybody help you? Are you that defiant woman? Are you that woman that wants to do everything herself? Or are you a woman that is really holistic, really spiritual, trying to find her path, but she's trapped in this mediocre, capitalist, materialistic level of life that she feels like she can't get out of? Or are you the woman that's still holding on to her past, her trauma, and all the actions you take through all those different avatars I've just shown you and explained to you are exactly the life you're going to get? Change who you are, change your thoughts, change your language, everything else follows. Now that's pretty hard. And the reason why people do not follow it through is because of attachment. They are attached to what they think through who am I is their life. I've just got goosebumps. Let's do that again. So change your thoughts, writing this down, change the way you speak, changes a complete outcome in your entire life. But if you are attached to who am I, that outcome is defined by who you think you are. Okay? The outcome, write it down, is defined in who you think you are. Okay. That's a quote for Pinterest, that one, isn't it? So the outcome is defined in who you think you are. Thank you, Spirit. Now, when this happens, we're locked in, we're attached to it. This is now our life. A lot of us say, my God, you're making me sound like my mum. Or, oh, you're making me sound like my dad. This is the sort of thing my father used to do. Or you have spent, maybe a similar story to me, your whole life avoiding bringing your children up or living the life that your parents had through all that abuse, that ferociousness of arguments and drunken spells and everything else, the feast and famine with money, the excitement and the very, very lows and the highs, no happy medium, that you have ended up living that life. And I will tell you now, none of it is your fault. I will absolutely tell you now, none of it is your fault. In the educational sector, we call it, in the psychology sector, we call it learned behavior. Isn't that amazing? Learned behavior. So many therapists say, well, once you're 6 years old, that's it. Your thoughts are set in stone. Not at all. Because in the Liberate Your Soul methodology, we're so far ahead of time. You know, there's a few people talking about it. And when you hear me say bending time and space, there's also the factor of reprogramming your DNA. That only happens under the power of meditation. But everything starts with who you are. And tonight we're going to change that. So we're here now. Okay, the amazing Ram Dass. We're here now. We're here in this present moment, Eckhart Tolle. And you're watching me and I'm watching you, and we're doing this masterclass, and I'm helping you completely transform the way you see, live your life. Because it's about freedom, ultimately. It's not about relying on everybody else and making all these silly excuses. It's about you. All right? Now, we've already established that the outcome is defined in who you think you are. Now we're going to turn it around. All right? Everything that makes you so happy, that brings never-ending smiles to your face, and a majority of it, guess what, you don't buy. The freedom it makes you feel when you're in this abundant energy, what is it? What is it in this moment in time? As you think in your mind, what makes you so happy? The never-ending smiles, the warming grace that throws around your body, the solar plexus, the butterflies in your tummy, everything ignites. Everything ignites. What happens when you think of those amazing thoughts that make you feel like that? Now I'm going to put some music on. We've got 3 minutes for this exercise, and I'd like you to sit quietly where you are with me. Just listen to the waves and the ocean in the background and take yourself to those moments. Whether it's being with your mum, your dad, your family, whether it's being out skiing, or whether it's with girlfriends you haven't seen for years, whether it's about a job you absolutely love. Let's focus on that imagery for 3 minutes. And this is how I start teaching you to tap into that higher self, okay? Reaching into that inner guru. What makes you so happy? You ultimately just feel free. You want to be in that moment forever. What is it? So I'm going to start playing the music. And just take a moment. Eyes open, eyes closed. It's entirely your choice. Just sit here with me just for a few minutes. Just release that energy and feel that abundance of love and joy. Happiness, freedom, love, and light. What is it? What are those visions? And just slowly opening your eyes. It's the most abundant feeling when you have sat in that state. Now, we can talk about science and we can talk about the different states of the mind, as they all do through social media. And we can talk about how amazing everything can be. But ultimately, you have just taken the first step of sitting in silence for just under 3 minutes in a loving, graceful space. What my work entails. You don't need all these amazing things. You don't need all these magnificent programs and apparatus and all these literatures and books. It's already in you. You have gone from who am I in the here, in the now, and you have then took yourself away and stepped into that abundance. Whatever those visions and thoughts were, I can see lots of people thinking about the beach as the wave music was on in the background. I can see smiles coming on your faces. I can see different clips of being with your children, having your first baby, getting married. And ultimately, is it not surrounded with the feeling of love? All those emotions and that abundance is all around love. And this is where the magic mindset steps in. Now, your first tool about learning about the magic mindset is understanding that what you have just done for less than 3 minutes, so that's just over 120 seconds, you have been able to bring calm, peace, and tranquility to your entire being. The shoulders release back and down from the ears. You can feel that pressure release. When we're abundant and we're in that higher state of peace and tranquility, there's no rushing around. Problem solving is much clearer. We are able to see into the light. We are able to see at the end of the tunnel. We are able to see a great significant outcome that bends time and space. Let the pressure come away from the shoulders, the neck, the head. Sitting comfortably, both feet on the floor. Take your shoes and socks off if you can. Get a little bit grounded. And I now want to take you on a little 5-minute journey to wrap tonight up, because you've been given the most powerful messages. And I'd like you to close your eyes. And as we close our eyes, I'd like you to visualize yourself in a very, very, very dense, close forest. Tongue away from the ridge of the mouth, shoulders away from the ears, feet grounded. The density of the forest brings a smell of mist and damp rain. Huge leaves and different shades of green are surrounding you as you're slowly walking through this path. The path is clear and nice and soft on your feet. You can hear the birds. You can see the beautiful rays of sunlight through the leaves and the trees. Feel the density of the forest around you and see the different shades of green. Let your senses pick up the smells. Feel the damp on your fingertips, your toes. Carry on walking forward. Carry on walking through that dampness, that density. Feel how more relaxed your breath becomes. Tongue away from the ridge of the mouth, relaxing the shoulders, your face, your body. And seeing your outer self walking through that beautiful forest. Look up at how tall the trees are. Look up at the rays of sunlight coming through and breaking through the mist down onto the ground. See the different shades of green that are surrounding you and the forest. Feel how relaxed you are. There's nothing here to harm you. Breathing in, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. Breathing in, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. Breathing in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. See that beautiful vision of your dense forest, different greens, the softness under your feet. Exhale. See the rays of sunlight coming through the tall trees onto the ground. The land soft under your feet. Rolling the shoulders up to the ears, back and down, and again up to the ears, back and down, and relax. Opening the eyes. Congratulations. That's the first step into your happy place, where we continue to build that visualization. Greenery is the most abundant color of wealth. The Chinese and Japanese, they say in the Tao that fill your house with jade, and jade is that beautiful light green color, isn't it? And it brings all the wealth and happiness to your soul. And so it's beautiful to walk through that forest, feeling that density and getting those different visualizations in what a forest looks like for us in the way that we live our life. So I'm going to take you on another little journey, and we're going to go back to who am I? Let's see what we've discovered. You've done your first visualization. You started taking your first path and building that path through to your happy place. And you've also been able to bend time and space in your breath work. So who are you? Let's go back to that. Who am I? Again, a bit of music's going to come on, and this time I'm going to give you a good 3 minutes, and I'd really, really like you to focus on that. A good 3 minutes in seeing who am I. Remember that abundance and love. Use the visualizations. Take yourself out of that frequency, and at the same time, put your pen to paper. Just lose yourself a little bit, okay? So 3 minutes, who am I? Okay. Okay. So, who am I now? What's changed? Have a look at what you've written and see how it's changed for you. Okay. As soon as you start to change that frequency, it's as quick as that. Regardless of your past, regardless of who you are, all of that comes later because it can be really traumatic. And I've sat in so many lives and so many different kinds of meetings and open circles of spiritual growth and awareness and life coaching and therapy. And they all do the same thing. You know, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But what I found was there's no answer for the forgiveness. How do you forgive an abuser? How do you forgive the rape when you were a child? How do you forgive your own husband beating you up but telling you he loves you? So these are all the things that come later. But if you're unable to reach deep inside and find peace now, change your thoughts, change the way you see things, you are not going to be able to heal the rest. And this is what happens. This is what happens. People don't want to see how. The Buddha always said, the art of humanity is pain and suffering. There's no way of getting out of it because it's that And through the Liberate Your Soul method, we go so deep. It's that helps you understand exactly what the Buddha was saying. Yes, you did suffer. And yes, it was painful. And you might be suffering with PTSD. And you might be suffering all the things that come with that grief. And it's destroyed your life until now. Until this moment, you've given yourself some space and time to really reflect and to find some happiness within your thoughts and your being. And so this is what it's all about. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you on here. Has it worked? And I'm going to share my screen with you. There we are. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen with you now. And I do apologize, Instagrammers. This is on the main page. So again, I will put the posts and pictures up on here. But this is an idea of the mapping out of how the Liberate Your Soul methodology works. And so there's lots of different formulas. And when I was working out this program and like, you know, how do I get everything that I've learned into some form of program, into some form of method to help unravel all this grief that nobody wants to talk about, because we have to have the answer. We have to ask this one. We have to ask that one. We have to rely on that system. We have to pull out of that state when it's us that holds the power. And that's what everybody stops us from doing. And so when I put the post on here, you will understand what I mean by the methodology. So it's a triangle. And every single time we climb up the side, we slip down. We climb up the side, we slip down. And when eventually we get to the top of the triangle, guess what? We've still got to go back down it again to come round and come back up. The triangle, the pyramid, is the most strongest shape. Okay? And so it's very, very hard for you to crumble and fall, but it's very steep to climb up it, isn't it? And that's why we have all these mountains. So I just move along, and this was, I've got a picture of me where we was at Disneyland in Europe, and I was incredibly ill on this holiday. And any single time I have been abroad, I have always been ill. It destroys the kids enjoying themselves. Your partner's exhausted and pissed off with you because you're supposed to be having fun as a family and you're ill. And when I came to this point in my life where I didn't recognize anything, probably like you, and I had no brain capacity to think that every time we went away, I was ill, and it was all in my gut, all in my solar plexus. I thought to myself, what is the problem? And I was ramming pills down my throat, and I was ignoring the power I had of my intuition. And it was my body telling me, you're having a panic attack. You're frightened. You're full of fear. And this picture here, you can see we're both being a bit silly. I'm a little bit crazed, but it isn't too far from the truth. Mentally, I was in a very, very, very dark place. And so here are some pictures of when I first started my business, and it was called Atalanta Strength, and it was all about fitness and well-being. And I got into the fitness world from being a dancer for years and breaking the up and down cycle of yo-yo dieting and the trauma that it brings with that. And so I created my business around my weight loss journey, like millions of other women. But for me, I realized it was more than that. It was more of a spiritual journey. And here is when I just first started, and believe it or not, here I'd started losing weight. It was a very, very big deal for me to put a swimming costume on every time. I was one of those women that would constantly hide myself and cover myself up all the time, which of course, ultimately you look even worse than who and what you are. This picture of me here is back at the gym, and you can see that I've lost a hell of a lot of weight. But mentally, I was so poorly. So I've always suffered with eating disorders throughout a majority of my life. And with that comes with a lot of mental torture. And again, eating disorders come from a trigger, come from a part of your life that you're attached to. And it can also come from a past life experience too, because it's something that's in you. And this is where we reach to that inner guru again. We take that step out, we take that moment, which ultimately is what mindful and mindset is in the mediotic chaos that is the capitalist world that we live in. And so this particular picture of me, yeah, I was really skinny. I was really skinny again. And it's never really suited me because I have a particular body type. But I was obsessed. That mindset of obsessiveness, the ego, eating away at what they're telling you you should be doing. And there's no peace in that. There's no tranquility. There's no desire to be anything else but that. And this picture is me just joking, like, oh, I've lifted a really heavy weight, and like hashtag Instagram, I'm amazing, check my shoulders. But I was just a skinnier version of my fat self. So the weight was going to come back on because I was basically anorexic again. And I just went back into that state, back into that size 10 with no muscle at all. So it just rolls back on. And the mental state is that you're stuck in the who am I, in the how I'm seeing and feeling myself is what I'm projecting. And at this point in my life, I couldn't hold a job down. I was really hoping to break it into the fitness industry, and ultimately it was killing me. So like in the Euro Disney days when I'd lost my weight, this picture followed on from there. I was still suffering with anxiety, panic attacks, and so many mental health disorders. I was on the verge of dying. That's ultimately what was happening. And you've probably been there yourself. And it's not until you take these beautiful practices that you look back at yourself. When we start doing that detachment work, you start to look back at yourself and you think, oh my God. And everybody just thinks that you're so happy and you're so alive, you know, and they just believe that everything is just great and amazing for you. And it isn't. It isn't great and amazing. It's painful. And you're just doing what everybody else is doing and covering it up. You're just covering up the wounds. Weight loss journey. Go into a competition. Do the Instagram feed and let everybody know how amazing it has been to lose the weight. The kids are amazing and happy and we're in Euro Disney. People didn't know that in order for us to go to Euro Disney, he'd been to Afghanistan. People didn't know that he'd just lost his finger in an accident at work. People didn't know that I didn't have any family to help me and nurture me through this pain and suffering and sorrow. Nobody came and rescued the kids. You're on your own, girl, and you've got to deal with it on your own, as well as everything else on the outside. So that's why it is so important to take these practices, forget about self-love, forget about self-worth, because all of that comes with these practices. So tonight, maybe take yourself back to that forest, maybe put on that playlist that I've played you tonight, the ocean, the waves. You might be a naturist, so it might be something for you that you prefer inland rather than water, but your spirit will know, and these are the things we're going to be working through over the next 5 days. You're going to learn to trust yourself, the inner guru. Okay, many blessings. Satnam, have an amazing evening, and I'm going to see you at the same time tomorrow at 8 a.m. All right. Have a great evening, everybody, and